So, welcome to the Five Reasons Sports post-game show. The Heat just won 98-96 against the New York Knicks. And, I'm just going to be honest. I'm kind of happy because I'm right when I said that the Heat were going to go on a win streak. I have no idea where Ramadan just went. But I'm kind of right. I was right about the Heat going on a win streak. But this game was ass, bro. Like just being all the way for real with you. I'm pretty sure my man Jonathan Ramadan finna come back, but I'm joined by Jonathan Ramadan and my man Brian is the king. But yeah, bro, this is ass, bro. Like I cannot continue to support this type of foolishness, bro. Like I like the fact that we are winning games, and this is the type of game that we would have lost had Jimmy not played because he seemed to be the only motherfucker out there who wanted to play. But this was it was frustrating. It was infuriating. So I'm gonna kick it to you, Jonathan. How do you feel about what you just saw?
It felt like we had nobody on this team that knew how to play offense except Jimmy and Bam. And we saw, especially in that first half, as soon as Jimmy went out, that's when the Knicks made their run. You know what I mean? Every time Jimmy went out, the other team would make a run because we wouldn't be able to generate something offensively. So it was really frustrating just to see this team because there was just nothing going offensively. Like, what was it? Until Tyler Hero scored some of those points in the fourth quarter, the only two people that scored in the second half at all was Jimmy and Bam. Like, and that can't be happening. And they weren't even shooting that good from the field. Like, Bam is 3 from 9 from the field. Thank God he got all those free throws. You know what I mean? Because if he didn't, his stat line would have been garbage. But Bam made his impact felt tonight, even though he wasn't hitting the shots. You know, he was getting the free throws and he was hitting most of them. And, that's all you could, ask for him right now is just to make an impact in the game. And obviously Jimmy was definitely the star of the game. He came out first quarter, had like 10 points. Third quarter had like 11, finished with 26, 9 and 10, a steal, 2 blocks, and he just carried us all the way to the homeland. If it wasn't for Jimmy, like you said, we wouldn't have won this game. But, we're playing against the toughest defensive team in the league. So we got to take, our offensive struggles with a little bit of grain of salt. They were playing with us really physical. But, we need to get something going offensively. It can't be against another team that has good offensive firepower. We would have been smoked a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm glad you took the positive route and, say we're playing one of the best defensive teams in the league. They're the fucking New York Knicks, Jonathan Ramadan. And just being honest with you, I honestly don't believe that our offensive woes were because we were playing one of the better defensive teams in the league. This is a trend of our team going on droughts when it comes time to score. I'm trying to maintain some level of balance here, guys, because it was a win, and I've been bitching about us losing the whole season. And so I'm going to take the win. Brian, what did you see tonight, bro?
Same thing as you guys. The main thing is the offense is terrible. And like Jonathan said, against another team, we would have lost way longer. It's just there's no excuse for 2 players on your team to score all but a few points in the second half, right? Against almost any other squad, that's a fat ass L. So, I don't know what the fix is there, but I think that's the biggest thing is just this team struggles to score, consistently.
Okay, so let's take away what we can in terms of positives from this game, shall we? Kelly Dirt Nowitzki Olynyk came to play tonight. Okay, he scored our first 5 points. I think he finished the game with like 17 or some shit like that.
20.
Like 20. Okay, there we go. KO scored 20 tonight. We'll never see it again. But he did it tonight, and it got us the win. So, Jonathan, how did you feel about Kelly's performance tonight?
It looked like he was setting his feet before he was shooting them threes. You know what I mean? So that's what you got to do. It's like I feel like all the time he just wants to lean and fade to the right or fade to the left and make these off-balance threes. But when his feet are set, he's shooting so much better. And even though he's been shooting like ass the last couple, or feels like that, last 2 weeks he's been shooting 42%, which is kind of crazy to think about because it doesn't even feel like that. But this game kind of was, like you said, it's an anomaly. 3-game win streak, like Adam said, I think the biggest win streak of the season thus far.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's it's pretty pathetic, but hey, we gotta. It's a start. We gotta start somewhere. We got Houston next.
Jonathan, did you just say that KO has been shooting 46% over the past couple of weeks?
42% over the past 2 weeks. I think it's a 6-game sample size.
I don't believe you. I don't care what your fancy numbers say. Let's see. I have to struggle to find positives from this game. By the way, um,
Nunn in the first half. That was a good. That was pretty
yeah,
decent.
KO was fine. Tyler Late was good.
Tyler hit
Yeah,
that big three a minute ago.
but to
That
be
was
honest
good.
with you, I mean, we could throw Bam in the positive category,
Absolutely.
but
He made an impact.
I did not see him as a positive tonight. We got absolutely abused in the paint tonight, fellas.
But
Anybody care to offer an explanation?
yes, Bam switches on everything. Like Bam gets switched out, and he's never in the paint. You know what I mean? He's never the main guy in the paint. It's switched. You're ending up with Jimmy on Randall or somebody on Randall, and Bam is guarding a perimeter player. Half the time. So we don't have any interior defense because Bam's switching out to everything, and we need to learn how to keep Bam on the bigs and keep him on the inside a little bit more.
Maybe we should stop fucking doing that, shouldn't we, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, but I mean, if you don't switch Bam on the perimeter, then who do you have, right? I mean, you're basically relying on shitty perimeter defenders to contain wings and guards, which is terrible. So, I mean, it's pick your poison.
Yeah, it's 100% pick your poison.
Yeah. Okay. So here's one of the things that you're talking about. You're talking about terrible wing defenders. There was a point, and I think in the third quarter, where Spo trotted out a 3-guard lineup that included Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Hero. That shit ain't gonna get it done. I mean, but does he have any options at this point?
That's the problem. That's roster construction, right? I mean, at this point, your only playable players, it feels like, are all fucking terrible on defense. So there's not much that you can really do, right?
Yeah, I mean, but see, this is my problem with this team. Like games like this are frustrating because it makes the last game like it seems to give credence to the whole fluke shit. Like, which one of these is the real Miami Heat team? Is the first game against the Knicks, the second game? Yeah, we won them both. But the first game I was much more comfortable with. Even though we only won it by 6, it was a more complete game from the roster. This game, it felt like struggled. Like, well, it didn't feel like we did struggle. We struggled to make this game competitive. And it took performances that we can't count on to make it happen. So I'm gonna throw that question out to you guys, Jonathan. Which team is the real team? Which is it? The one that we saw tonight, or the one that we saw on Sunday?
I mean, if you're asking me which team is going to show up to the playoffs, I think it's the team that we saw Sunday. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're struggling right now offensively, but I think we can get better. If Goran comes back, if we get a solid rotation going in the backcourt, Avery comes back, we have a little more defense coming there. Obviously, these are guys that you don't want to rely on heavily, but come playoff times, those are the guys that you're going to rely on. You're going to have a Dragic hero backcourt coming off the bench, whether it's Nunn starting or if you want to throw Avery out there and do something kind of like that. You have stuff that we can still work with in the future. Like, even though we're struggling against trash teams, we're still not a complete team yet. You know what I mean? We still have a little bit more way to go. I know a lot of people want to say that this is our ceiling and this is it, but we still have a lot of long season left in this season. So we can't be writing this team off and say, oh, this is it offensively, and we're not going to get any better than this, and there's no hope for this team. Like, there's still a hope for this team that we get the team working as a unit. Right now, our team isn't flowing as a unit, and that's how we play. Miami Heat basketball right now isn't hero basketball. You know what I mean? We don't have a LeBron James, or we don't have, a James Harden. Just rinse and repeat every single, play.
We could have had a James Harden.
We could have had a James Harden. We should have had a James Harden. Now looking at Duncan Robinson plays tonight. Duncan Robinson.
Oh, he's next. He's next on the hit list.
But this team can still become a better unit, and I feel like as long as we get the chemistry going and we get the continuity going with this team, we still can become a better team. And I feel like even though we have this West trip coming up against really good teams, we're a team that plays up to our competition. You know what I mean? And we also play down to our competition. So I feel like those games could also be competitive, and we might be able to find at least a little bit of a rhythm on that road trip coming up.
Randy, could you bring that comment back up for me, please? We got our producer extraordinaire, Manny, in the background, but Roy was high. The whole game was competitive. Did they play well? Not really, but it wasn't a blowout. It was a 2-point win, Jennifer. Of course it wasn't a blowout. But Brian, was this closer to the team that Miami is, or was it the Sunday game?
Honestly, I think it's this team. Like, on paper, I think that if this team was fully healthy going forward, you could probably say it's closer to the team we saw on Sunday. but I just don't trust this team. Like it feels like every time we get someone back, someone else gets hurt. It feels like every time someone has it rolling a little bit, the next few games they're playing poorly. So I just feel like it's already been 24 games, and going forward, I don't know if this team's going to find any consistency, at least not anytime soon. And again, you can make a different argument if we saw this team healthy and the guys playing consistent for a 10 game stretch, somewhere in between there. But we haven't seen it. So I need that proof that they can be that before I start to say, this team looks closer to Sunday, let alone what they looked like last year.
Ramakan, you're the optimist tonight. So I'm going to bounce off of what Brian said. And I'm going to throw this to you. This team has not looked consistent offensively. And a big part of that is because of Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson, I forgot who said, I think it was Marco who said it. But Duncan Robinson has not been the same threat that he was last season. And I think it's because teams now have the book on him and they're playing him a little tougher. And he hasn't responded well all season. You still believe that this team can get to some level of consistency if they can't get Duncan Robinson right?
No, absolutely not. You know what I mean? He's essential to making this team flow offensively. And if he doesn't get going, he's, like we talk about a lot of times, he's the most important player on this Heat offense, the way Coach Spo designs it. So if he doesn't get going and doesn't become the threat like he was before, putting up 10 and just hitting 4 or 5 of them, then we can't become the same team we were, because then we don't have that offensive threat and that shooting around two non-shooters like Jimmy. Thank God he hit his first 3 for the season today, and Bam, who doesn't want to look to the basket and take a jump shot unless there's a half second left on a shot clock. So I feel like, who do you think is going to play the Heat in the finals? I'm going to say the Clippers. But as far as Duncan, if we don't get him going, then this team can't become close to what it was last year at all.
I think Duncan is experiencing something that a lot of our other players are. It's kind of like a wall against certain players right now. I think we've seen Precious hit that wall. I don't know if it's solely because of playing time, but it feels like even when he's in, he's not as impactful as he was earlier in the season. I think Tyler hit the wall earlier in the season. He seems to be coming out of it, but sometimes he's still in it. Like he's game to game. Like Tyler Hero tonight, I get what his numbers say, but he was part of that bench unit that got killed early in this game. Talk some about our bench tonight, Brian, because in my eyes they were fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the numbers, right? Iggy, 0 points. Gabe Vincent, 3 points. Tyler Hero, 15, 7 4. Good stat line. Precious, 0 points. The rebounding is terrible. Iggy, I guess Hero led the bench unit with 7 rebounds. But, I mean, outside of Hero, we got basically nothing, right? And it feels like, I haven't looked at it, but I feel like if you went back, there'd probably be a solid amount of nights like that. And you just can't go, you can't expect to win in the NBA with 5 guys, well, really 3 guys, on a good night, it feels like. So when our bench is just not playing like professional basketball players, then yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of games.
Yeah, so let's talk about a bench player who was actually pretty good tonight. This is the first game for Derrick Rose over there with New York, and he looked good against us again. Talk about the night from Rose, Ramakan.
Hold up, before I go to that boxing report, I want to see the refs bailed us out. If the refs bailed us out, we was getting hacked all night long, and nothing could save the Knicks poverty ass franchise from not getting any more rings. So get your ass out of here. Glory, and maybe hopefully before sometime the next 100 years, the Knicks will win a ring. But yeah, man, I forgot your question. What was it again?
I was talking about Derrick Rose and their bench and how they outplayed us.
He always cooks us. He always cooks us. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose always cooks us. He's just that guy that's, I mean, even pre-tear of the ACL, he's just somebody that cooks us. I think he had the 2 highest scoring games of his season was against us, like when he was in Detroit. So, I mean, he's just, a fast switch point guard that can get around Nunn, Hero, Duncan, pretty much anybody that guards him as far as the guards go. But we need to find a way to stop these really fast point guards, or else we're going to get cooked very, very often. And hopefully Avery Bradley comes back soon because we're really missing him right now. And it sucks that we need this guy who we signed for barely a minimum, and he's always hurt for some reason. But I feel like we really need him, especially come playoff time, to help shore up that defense.
Yeah, so that's the thing that we've been talking about. Pretty much, it seems like every game all season long is about when we get our guys back and how we're going to look after we get back. Tonight, I mean, it really does feel like we can't win like solid. We can't convincingly win a game unless we have the entire roster and the entire roster plays up to, you know, their standard. Like they have to play the best version of themselves in order for us to look like a competent basketball team. Is that a way to win, Brian? Like, can we? I know we can't maintain that, but how does this team expect to maintain this like this? Like, how do they expect to continue to move forward like this?
I don't think they should. I mean, I realistically, I think if they're being realistic, they can't look at this team and think that, this is fine to have guys in and out, guys playing inconsistent and feel that they're going to win any significant number of games or have any, significant playoff success. I honestly think that the only way to really fix this is to change the roster. But there's the fear that, after this 3-game winning streak, they might look at this team and be like, all right, well, let's see how long we can milk it for, see if we can win some more games. And I just don't see it ever getting right in reality.
Somebody said Royo is a Heat doomsdayer. I'm not a Heat doomsdayer. I just speak the reality that my eyes show me, which is that this team is not as good as people want to make it seem. Like at the beginning of the season, I was hearing a whole lot of, just wait till we get our guys back. It's still early and shit like that. We 24 games in now, and this is a big enough sample size for people to understand that there are clear holes on this roster. There are things that are extremely wrong with this team that people are choosing to blindly ignore, like because they're fans. Being a fan does not mean that I have to like an ass win or an ass game. Like I don't have to. So Ramlakan, did you see anything from this game that gives you confidence in our ability to beat Houston on Wednesday or whatever day we play them?
Yeah, I mean, Bam and Jimmy were able to get the free throws going. You know what I mean? And that was a really big part of this game. And if we're going to move forward and try to make sure that we're able to be better defensively, we need to be able to set our feet defensively. And tonight we didn't have a good shooting night. So every time we were coming off a rebound, trying to set our defense, which is a harder way to set your defense instead of making a shot, getting it back, or drawing a foul. So I think it's really important that Bam and Jimmy continue to draw fouls. And of course, we don't want to use Jimmy too much, but getting those foul shots and getting those free throws up are really important. Second thing, another good game from Kendrick Nunn. You know what I mean? Even though it wasn't in a long period of time, it was mostly in the first half. He was hitting shots and he was shooting with confidence. And that's what we haven't really seen since last year when he hurt his Achilles. You know what I mean? It finally looks like he has a little bit of confidence back. He's making a little bit better reads, too. He's making some good passes. There was one good pocket pass he made to Bam that ended up being slopped out of his hands, but he's starting to make better reads and starting to shoot with more confidence. So that's kind of something that we should be, encouraged with looking forward, because he's averaging like 15 over the last 2-3 weeks. And he's been one of our most consistent offensive weapons when he's getting the playing time. So Kendrick Nunn stepping up and kind of refilling that role that he was last year is a big part of us becoming the team that we can be moving forward.
No, Jennifer, it's not the same energy win or loss. I was very happy with the last win. It prompted me to say that the team was going to start a winning streak, which is what I said at the beginning of the show. I am happy that we won the game because it proves me right that we are. You said y'all should let people call into the show like Jennifer because I'm with her. I'm all for that idea. Like I promise you, we're gonna find some way to try and work that out. But no, I'm happy that the team got a win. Don't get me wrong, because I was bitching and moaning all season long about how they couldn't win games. But like I continuously harp on, it is the way that you win. Like there's a way to win. Like, and we're not playing that way at all this season. Like I just don't see it consistently enough for me to be a constant optimist. So if you get pessimism, then that's what the fuck you're going to get, because that's what I'm seeing. Brian, you saw anything that makes you confident in our ability to beat Houston?
I mean, Houston's a bad team, so I feel relatively confident to start with, but nothing really, man. I mean, like I look at that game on Thursday, I believe, and I'm thinking, the same things. Like John Wall's a really fast, athletic point guard, probably going to destroy whoever's starting. Victor Oladipo is probably going to destroy whoever's starting. Luckily, Christian Wood is out. We don't have to deal with that. Kelly trying to guard him. I guess it probably would be Bam. But nothing in particular.
I mean, one thing that we can look forward to is that the golden boy of some of the members of the Five Reasons Sports Network, PJ Tucker, has been ass lately. Like,
Okay, I thought you were talking about, yeah.
Who you thought I was talking about? Christian
I thought you
Wood?
were talking about Tyler Hero's the golden boy. I thought you were going to say he had a good game. Golden boy Tyler Hero is going to have like 30 or something.
So let's explore the Tyler Hero thing a little bit, because I've been saying about you got to chalk some of these inconsistencies up to him being young. But I mean, in all honesty, I was proud of what he did tonight in the fourth quarter. Of course, you want to see more all the time, but when it produces a win, he hit a big 3-pointer to give us the lead for good. Like, he hit some good shots with nobody else on the fucking floor to hit anything aside from Jimmy and Bam. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of that, and I appreciate that from him. But damn, like, Jimmy Butler is out there killing himself, bro. Like, we are not going to make it. Rob from Hollywood said, Rob in Hollywood, I'm sorry. A win is a win. Roy, my dude, you good? Yeah, bro. I'm straight, bro. But yeah, Jimmy is having to expend too much energy on a team like the Knicks, which is what has me worried about the Heat team in general. Like, I mean, Jonathan, I know you're trying to look at the bright side of things, but you can't tell me that you can't see this, bro.
No, absolutely. If we keep playing like Jimmy like this, he's going to be breaking down by the end of the season. You know what I mean? We can't be so heavily reliant on him to the point where he needs to be one of two guys that score almost every point until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Like, he can't be doing that every single game, and especially against a team like the Knicks, he can't be doing that. So you definitely want to see a little bit more out of Tyler Hero. 6 out of 15. Same thing, same amount of shots attempts as Jimmy, but he wasn't hitting those shots a little bit earlier. You know what I mean? He was getting to the rim, wasn't finishing, not hitting good jump shots that you want to see him to hit, but he needs to just be a little more aggressive as far as the scoring comes out. And I need to see him and Bam run some more pick and rolls. Like, I don't know why I don't see them run pick and rolls, because it's so effective, but Bam looks to do dribble handoffs instead of doing pick and rolls with Tyler. And I feel like if you start seeing that a little bit more, we might see a little more offensive production from Tyler, because he's going to have options. He's going to have the threat of Bam rolling to the rim or popping out if it's a pick and pop. And Tyler is a player that can finesse his way to the rim as well. And if he can get good looks around the rim, he can start being really effective and becoming that 3-level scorer that we know he can be. So, no, we don't want Jimmy running down to the floor, but I feel like we can, or we do have the power if Tyler is able to step up. If Bam's able to step up a little more, and especially in the first half, he played like trash. If Bam's able to step up and take that lead offensively, then we shouldn't have to worry about Jimmy being run out by the end of the season.
Just being honest with you, Robert McCall, I think I'm off the boat of having Bam take the lead offensively. Like, I think we've talked about it enough about the aggression and shit like that. But at certain points, like, you got to watch him, and it's like, okay, he just doesn't want to be that guy. And that's fine if he doesn't want to be. He can be as talented as he wants to, but if he doesn't want to be that guy, then we can't make him that guy. He seems to want to be the dribble handoff guy. He wants to be the facilitator. He wants to be Bam, the point guard.
The screen setter.
Yeah, the screen setter. He wants to be Bam, the role player, not Bam, the superstar. There was a possession in the fourth quarter. Clock running down. It's like 8 seconds on the shot clock. Jimmy throws the ball to Bam. Down in the post. He gives it to KO.
I remember. I was thinking about that same thing. I was like, why did he pass it to KO?
The fuck? Like, what are you doing, bro? But it's like I said, I'm not going to continue to harp on Bam's aggression. I'm just going to accept the reality that he's showing me, which is that Bam has all the talent in the world and could potentially be one of the top 5 to 6 players in this league. So if he so chooses, I do not, at this point, I'm starting to inch closer and closer to not believing that Bam will ever choose that.
Brian, this season, maybe somewhere like next season. Go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe. I was about to throw it to Brian, but Brian, am I doing that too early? Like, am I too early?
I think it's early, but I don't think you're wrong, if that makes sense. Like, I've said this before, like, Bam could very easily this season be an all-NBA caliber player. He could have the crazy stat lines where everybody looks at him and they're like, damn, that guy is fucking amazing. But a lot of it is mentality. You got to want it. And part of it, this is kind of like a mini theory of mine. I don't know how true it is, but I think part of it is it feels like every time Bam is aggressive or is trying to be aggressive scoring wise, he's having to try so hard to create his own shot. It doesn't feel like there's anybody on this team that really tries to get him easy shots. I mean, I know that him and Gordon will run the pick and roll sometimes, but usually Gordon isn't throwing the lob to Bam. So it almost feels like every time Bam is scoring, it's like, it's either off of a putback or off of like the one or two lobs he maybe gets in once every few games. So that might just be it. Maybe Bam is just like, I don't want to have to face up 20 times a game, but I mean, like I said, the dude has to at a certain point realize how good he is and realize that, him being aggressive is a better offensive option than kicking it out to Kelly Olynyk or trying to get Duncan Robinson, hot when he's 0-5 or whatever. But I don't know that that's going to happen. And I think that part of it is the coaching staff has to tell him, hey, you are this good. You can go do this. I feel like Jimmy has that faith in Bam. You see Jimmy, letting Bam, run offensive sets, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like other guys on the team are really, pushing him to do that or have that type of confidence where he can just, just kind of like let him do his own thing.
Yeah, so I want to acknowledge a couple of things that I was seeing in the comments. I think it was AO Val who asked me if I would still give Bam that max contract. Absolutely. Like there's no doubt in my mind that was the right decision for this organization for Bam. Bam, to me, is a max contract player. Even if he never grows another inch offensively, Bam already defensively is one of the best, in my opinion, 4 to 5 defenders in the league because of the versatility that he brings and the way that he's able to just affect games on that end of the ball. Um, Somebody else said, Bam is a 20 and 10 guy. That's cool. That's great. Bam could easily be a 27 and 13 type guy.
And 7 assists.
Yeah, and 7 assists. Like, I believe if Bam was playing the type of way that I'm talking about him being capable of playing, there's no like Poetic Lifestyle. There's no reason why I don't see Bam getting close to 30 because he literally has an advantage on everybody. But I think to Brian's point, that is that is maybe an issue of the surroundings, him not having a player next to him. Jonathan, I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier about not seeing the pick and roll between he and Tyler Hero to try and get him some early ones. Is this a schematic issue or is it a personnel thing where a player maybe like a Kyle Lowry would help get Bam easier shots and help him boost that average up?
I mean, he has to be the one to do it. You know what I mean? Because if they pick and roll to him and he catches in the paint and then he turns his back to the back and look for another dribble handoff, then it's just the same thing like before. You know what I mean? So he needs to be the one that needs to be the ball and be aggressive with it. And like Dan the Man said, he needs to work on some Nikola Jokic film because Jokic has figured it out how to do it all. Man, he's scoring the jump shot. He has good touch around the rim. And the thing is, he is not half as athletic as Bam is. He's not half as quick as Bam is. So sure, he's a little bit taller, but he's not half as athletic or quick. So he can't take these guys off the dribble. But he's finessing everybody the way, and he has the same type of play style that Bam could grow into. So I feel like Bam needs to be the one to take that step. It's not going to be personnel change or anything like that because the way this team is built is supposed to be anybody can go off any night, right? That was our whole thing last year was, we can beat you one game. Duncan Robinson has 21 game. Jimmy Butler have, 21 game. Kelly Olynyk or Tyler Hero, whoever it was. Our thing was another guy's going to beat you every night, Now we need to change that a little bit, and we need to become more Bam oriented. Even though he's averaging 29 and 5, which is a ridiculous stat line if you actually think about it, he needs to be more aggressive. You know what I mean? Like he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to face him to the basket more. Mitchell Robinson and I mean I didn't see Taj Gibson, but Nerlens Noel, those guys are scrubs. Those guys are scrubs. Mitchell Robinson is good defensively, but he's not as fast as Bam. So Bam should be taking him off the dribble or creating space like she's able to do because he's able to dribble the ball up. You'll see Jimmy give him the ball to dribble the ball up as a point guard, but he's not doing with it any other than running through the three-point line and going for a dribble handoff. So we need to see Bam just be more aggressive. I mean, how many more times are we going to say the same thing? You know what I mean? Like we can only say the same thing so many different types of ways, but he needs to be the one to make the decision. It's a little bit schematic. We do a lot of dribble handoffs, but he needs to be the one that actually takes the lead with that.
So I think it's interesting that you bring up some of the other centers, Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel. Those longer centers seem to be the type that Bam has the most problem with. Like he doesn't seem like, and yeah, he's undersized for a center. Excuse me. But like we've been saying, like he literally has an advantage over everyone.
Either
Like
speed
he
or he's too big. Like
yeah,
one of
or
the
too
two.
strong. And it
Yeah.
seems like far too often we're talking about him not using those advantages at any time in the game. And I think some people are misinterpreting what we're saying about Bam. The reason that we're spending so much time talking about him and the reason that we're criticizing this game so heavily is because we believe in what Bam is capable of. That I have no reason to criticize a player who I don't believe in for a second. You will never hear me slander Chris Silva to this extent. I don't expect shit from Chris Silva. Nothing. Even if he plays 30 minutes. Like I don't. But from Bam Adebayo, he's proved last year that he's an all-star in this league. And I think that Bam has the capabilities, the ability to be a superstar in this league, and he's not taking advantage of them. So I don't know. Like, let's kick it to our superstar because I do want to talk some more about Jimmy. I don't feel like we're giving him his just due because we haven't talked about him enough. Brian, talk to me about how Jimmy has completely come in and he's helping us win games that we would have lost earlier in this season without him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jimmy is still the best player on the team, and just looking at his stat line tonight, I guess I took away a rebound, but he had 26, 8, and 10. Another near triple double. And I feel like prior to this game, over his last four, I believe he was averaging he is averaging 21, 8, and 8. Getting to the free throw line. And there's a lot of points in a basketball game where your team will go on a run, and you kind of just need a guy to settle you down. And he does that by driving hard to the rim, getting fouled, and getting two free throws. You know, um, Jimmy's as amazing as he's ever been, and it feels like earlier in the season people were kind of worried about him, but you know, I have complete trust in Jimmy. The problem, like you guys mentioned earlier, is running him into the ground. You don't want him to have these type of nights against the Knicks. You know, but outside of that, he's fantastic.
Yeah, Ramlakan, what did you see from Jimmy tonight that you really enjoyed?
Just the pace that he brings this game to. You know what I mean? He really comes in, and once he's in the game, everything offensively is on his pace. Now, sometimes tonight we didn't have the offensive possessions that we want, but Jimmy was able to, most of the time at least, calm things down and get, 15, 16 free throws tonight? And if not that, get a good look. You know what I mean? Get a good shot at the rim. Get pretty close to getting something offensively. So him playing like the lead player on this team is going to help us win every time. You know what I mean? He is an alpha. But like what Brian said, we were saying we don't want him to play that way every single game. You know what I mean? We can't have him playing that way and having him not lasting in the season. But the 8 or 9 rebounds, 10 assists, I mean, he was doing everything offensively. He's a triple double player right now. You know what I mean? If he wants to, he could pull Russell Westbrook and average a triple double this season with playing on this Heat team. But he's more focused on winning. You know what I mean? So it's really good to see him at least lead the team and come back. But we can't be doing the same for games against the Knicks. You know what I mean? We need to save him for when playoffs come time because we don't want to see him looking like he did in the finals every single game. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's great.
I think at this point, that's what we're getting to, where games against the Knicks have us requiring playoff Jimmy or finals Jimmy to win the damn thing. That that to me blows my mind. Like, yeah, I think the Knicks are a solid team this year. I really do. And this win definitely helps us in terms of standings. I'm a Knicks fan. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm not. I actually like winning. Okay, like I don't enjoy misery. But yeah, I think we got to look closer to where we want to be in terms of playoff positioning or whatever. But yeah, whatever, bro. I don't want to talk about this fucking game anymore because it made me angry. Let's give a quick in depth. Let's give a quick in depth analysis of what we think is going to happen. You didn't have to put that up, but let's give. You throwing me off. what, what do you think is going to happen? Go a little bit more in depth. I know we touched on it a little bit, but go more in depth of what you think is going to happen in the next game and what's your predictions for it.
I mean, I feel like honestly, my heart wants to say the Heat wins every single time, but I feel like that's a game where we're just gonna give up a bunch of 3-point shots. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Eric Gordon or somebody like that is gonna go off against us and just hit like 6 or 8 threes. But I feel like we could win that game. You know, we could go in. If Jimmy and Bam are able to play like they played tonight, and we get a little bit more from Tyler Hero, and Kelly's able to do half of what he did and just at least stretch the floor, and we're able to just get a little more flow offensively. Because if we can just get that flow offensively and get it rolling, we see, especially in that beginning of the first quarter, we went on a 20-9 run to start the game, and our offense looked like it was flowing, and everything looked good. So if we can get that flow just going a little bit more, game to game progress, maybe we get 10 minutes of good offensive flow last game, and then we get 15 minutes of good offensive flow this game. So even if we don't win, all we got to do is just try to build on it. You know what I mean? This is a team that we have a great coach, and we can build on what we do offensively. Even though we don't have a great offensive right now, we're not at the ceiling yet. You know what I mean? We still have a ways to go. Bam still has a higher ceiling. Tyler Hero still has a higher ceiling. So we still have a ways to go. We still can get better offensively, but I feel like as long as we just play a little better defense, 3-point line, we can get that win.
I'm gonna let you get away with not giving us a prediction, accurate prediction, because you're usually on pregame too. I'm not on pregame. Neither is Brian. So Brian, I'm gonna hold you to a hard down prediction. Who wins? What's the score?
I got the Heat winning. I'm gonna say 115 to 107. It's gonna be a lot of offense.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Like, I think John Wall and Victor Oladipo are going to have really good games for the Rockets. But this is a game where, as much as we talked about Bam's lack of aggressiveness, like, he should absolutely destroy, the Rockets' front court without Christian Wood. Like, this should be one of those games where he has 30, 12, and 6 or some crazy stat line like that. No one can stop Jimmy. I definitely don't think there's anyone in the Rockets that could, hold Jimmy.
I think that because of the defensive issues, like Ramadan mentioned,
I have no idea what happened to your goddamn mic, Ricky. Oh, Brian.
Your microphone went from your headphones to like your computer or whatever.
Manny just kicked him out. So we have one of the GOATs of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, the producer extraordinaire, Manny, joining us. Manny, what you wanted to get in here and say, my boy?
No, I mean, this game feels like if you were at the game, you love the win. If you were at home watching it, it doesn't do much for you, right? And of course, that fan that was at the game, when they get home, they're all excited because they witness a win. And when they wake up, they're like, but this shit's expected. Like, what the? And then to see Jimmy having to play like NBA Finals version, that's hard, man. It's hard to accept because you've seen it, right? And now you see, without Jimmy being in there being himself and a little bit more, the game could have been lost once again. And this is it, man. It's just, you are expected to beat New York regardless what happened. But you're right. You have to take wins like this in consideration, and you have to ask yourself, it's how you won the game, right? What happened? You had a lead. You gave it up once again. Your offense on the stretch was crap, right? And then I guess when I see Bam pass it to KO in a crucial possession in the fourth, I lose my mind. But like I said, we've been seeing that all year, right? So
Okay, cool.
I guess after 24 games, we should just accept what it is, right? And it is what it is.
All right, so Brian, we didn't get a chance to hear you finish your point because, as the commenters pointed out, you on that Ethernet tonight. So
yeah, I have no idea what happened. Point being, it's going to be a very high scoring game, but I'm going to say the Heat win. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm with you, Brian. I called a 15-game win streak, so I'm gonna stick with that shit until they lose. Just being honest with you. I think we're going to beat the shit out of the Houston Rockets. Like, I'm just being honest. I think this is going to be the game where we come out and I said that about this one too, though. And that one didn't turn out that way. But I really believe that about this Houston game, though. I'm with Ram Khan, where I think this is a big Bam game. Who's going to be guarding him? PJ Tucker?
Yeah.
Or Boogie. Or is Boogie out or is he playing?
No, I think
Boogie's playing.
But I don't know. Well, I guess PJ Tucker will be on KO. Either way, Boogie or if Bam passes the ball at all, then I'm gonna be pissed off because I don't want to hear that shit. But
hey, before we move forward, the reason we say Bam has no ceiling. LeBron James 6'9", 250. Bam Adebayo 6'9", 255. Bam could be doing similar things as LeBron. He has the ball handling. He has the shooting. Maybe the passing isn't there as far as off the dribble, but he has the passing ability. He has the game sense. So that's why we expect so much out of Bam, because he has a LeBron James mold, and it's crazy to say, but he can be one of the most special offensive players of all time if he puts it all together, because he could be a guy that averages 20, like you said, 28, 13, and 8. And if he does something like that, that's unreal what his ceiling could become at only 23 years old right now.
Yeah, so here's my thing about that. It's not just the fact that we believe Bam can do some LeBron shit. We've seen him fucking do it. Like that's my thing. That's my thing with Bam Adebayo, bro. We've seen this man just out of nowhere. Like nobody goes into a game without Jimmy Butler against the Brooklyn Nets and expects Bam to score 41 points. We expect him to play well, but we didn't expect what we saw. So once you see that, then your expectations naturally rise.
Even
And
in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Yeah, like every time he does something like this, my expectations for Bam just creep up just a little bit. And so he gets graded a little more harshly. It's kind of like my expectations for Jimmy. I'm not going to lessen them because he has shown me that he can be better, and I expect for him to be better. So any last comments, guys? We're going to end this.
Royal, quick question. So are we at a point that we expect Bam to be that superstar, but obviously our concerns are always his offense, right? We don't ever have questions about his defense. We know that he's going to be the man. He's going to get the rebounds and the blocks and those key crucial possessions where the other team's superstar, if he's the one guarding him, I have total confidence 9 out of 10 that he'll play great defensively. But it's like not every player can do what he does, right, on defense. Then you see what he does on offense. The man's jumper is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in a long time by any big man. And I probably have to agree with Ricky that Patrick Ewing or whatnot, right? So, but still, do you want to get, like, which one do you want? You can't have it all right now. Okay. You can't have the complete package.
Yeah. So
and as much as we dislike Bam sometimes and being that guy towards the end of the game on offense, let's just be a little bit appreciative of what he does on the defensive side in crucial situations as well, because I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough.
Okay, so I want to. You're absolutely correct. His defensive side doesn't get talked about enough. The reason that we focus so much on his offensive side is because no matter what he does on offense, you're going to get that on defense. Like, and sometimes we can't take it for granted because we see it so regularly now. He never cheats you on the defensive end of the ball. If he's having a good night, bad night on offense, whatever. The reason that we focus on his offense is for that very reason, man. We know he's going to give us great defense. We're expecting the next part of his game to grow. And the only growth really, like if he stays the same level of defender right now, he's a Hall of Fame defender in my eyes. The only growth that he needs to do in order to ascend to that next level is on the offensive end of the ball. Brian, am I right or wrong about that issue? Because I want everybody to get a chance to jump in on that question.
Oh, no, you're definitely right about that. I mean, I feel like, you look at a guy like Giannis, right? Dominant defensively, dominant offensively all the time, and though Bam isn't an MVP caliber yet, I think that he has that type of potential where he can give it to you every night on defense and every night on offense. It's just the willingness to do it. And I think that the only thing, it's definitely not an ability thing. It's not he's too old an energy thing. It's literally a desire thing. So I expect him to do it at a certain point.
I like this Lewis guy, even though he's been insulting me the entire goddamn post-game stream. Ramlakan, where are you on Manny's question?
No, 100% agree. You know what I mean? He's one of the top defensive players in the league. And Ricky commented, and he was like, Hall of Fame defense. Yeah, because when was the last time we saw a guy that can legitimately guard 1 through 5, like maybe LeBron or some other guys, but like only a handful of guys can guard 1 through 5. You know what I mean? So Hall of Fame defense, yeah, he could become a Hall of Fame defender, especially with his versatility and what he can do defensively. But like you were saying, the reason we don't talk about his defense is because we know he's a top 3 defender in the league. You know what I mean? And like Jose's saying, a max player, you got to score. You know what I mean? And for him to not take that initiative offensively, that's what we're looking for him. We're looking for him to become that next level scorer so he can become a superstar on this team. Because right now he's a star. You know what I mean? Bam Adebayo is a star in this league, but he's not a superstar just yet. So he needs to become that guy that, like Kawhi, he can do it offensively and defensively. Like Brian said, Giannis. So these guys can do it offensively and can do it defensively. Bam could be one of those guys too. You know what I mean? And he's not a guy that, like Jimmy, he'll run his body into the floor. You know what I mean? He'll take some drives and he'll get some hits inside, but he can be a guy that finesses his way to 25 points a game. And I feel like he could hit that.
I'm sorry. got distracted during your talk. I heard
You're
it.
good.
But Jennifer, I love you too. Thank you for joining the post game series and thank you for commenting. Okay, I love all of you guys equally, and I hate you all equally as well. So don't even worry about that. So time to pay some bills. Tonight's show was brought to you by Biscayne Bay Brewery. Manscaped, shave your balls and use the code 5RSN. That's the number 5RSN, and they'll give you some discounts and shit. I don't really know what the discount is, but I did it, and I got my. They gave me a pair of boxers too. Yeah, and yeah, they do nice stuff for your balls. Prize Picks. Use the promo code 5. They do some nice shit for you too. I don't really know what it is, but they do some nice shit for you too. I do know they match your they match your donation up to $100. Best ever. I remembered it tonight. My man Twisted Tapioca. Thank you for the $4.99 donation. He says I hate you too. But who was I talking about? Best ever. Yeah, they let you simulate sports shit. Not really sure much else. Ethan and David Fernandez did something about it on the YouTube channel. Go watch that shit. Get them views up. Your balls will thank you. Yes, they will. Who else we got? Selsa Mayberg. They, I think they followed us on Instagram today. We got some more. Oh, make sure y'all watch Fight Week on 5. Don't really know what day it comes on, Jonathan. Sorry to tell you.
No, it's Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the week. So just look out for the tweets.
Oh, speaking of which, the Clutch Corner has changed dates for this week, I guess. We didn't want to do the Clutch Corner for the post-game show, so everybody who wants to watch that, make sure you check us out tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That's going to be a blast. I'm probably going to do a lot more cursing and talking about trades and stuff. It's going to be a very special show. We have some nice things lined up for you, so make sure you tune in. It's going to be real fun. My head is shaped like a ball, but his head not thanking him. Yo, who said that? Oh, Christian Cardis.
That was a good one.
Yeah, right. I did plug Clutch Corner. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and IG at 5 on the floor 5. Thank you, Lewis. Even though you've been a hoe all night talking shit to me, thank you for the $1 donation. No, Clutch Corner not during the game. What else we got? Nothing. Come on, Manny. Shit. Rodriguez with the $14.99 super chat donation. My boy!
Did that guy actually give $15?
Yes, he did.
Right at the buzzer.
Right at the